Let's see. Okay. Hey, somebody's in here. I can't see who, but well, so far we have one viewer. Loading. There we go. Jen. All right, so we have 2 people. Why does it say there's only one? That's interesting. I don't actually know. It says I only have one viewer, but there's 2 people, and it says the only viewer is me. But I see 2 people in the comments. So this is my first time ever doing a live stream, so I'm still trying to learn how everything works. But yeah, if you guys are here, absolutely say hi in the comments. And we'll get started on the live picking here in a bit. I want to give people some people some time to get in. Oh, Hoffman. Let's see. Oh, hold on a minute. There we go. So it's lagging a little on my end, so maybe it's just a slow update. Thanks for supporting in. Oh, JD's. Uh, yeah, it looks like it's kind of lagging a little too on my end. Uh, oh, okay, I see. I see how this is working. Okay, so when it said the one live viewers, one Indieauthor Jill, it's showing how many people are viewing on YouTube, and yeah, it's a little laggy. Unfortunately. Are you guys hearing me okay? Is the sound okay? Now, while I'm waiting for people to let me know if the sound is okay, JD Sanderson is a science fiction writer. I did a video on his book Syzygy, and his book is actually on the Wheel of Names, Footstep Echo. Sounds good. Yes, the sound's fine. That isn't a problem. Okay, so just the lagging. And Christian Wright does Cozy Mysteries. I did a review video on his book, Perish in Paradise, and the second book in that series, um, Sins, Lies, and Weekend Demise, is also on the wheel. And I believe Will Hoffman has a book on the wheel as well. Okay, so we are 5 minutes in. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the wheel. So this is the randomizer that I put everybody's book titles um, to young adult supernatural thriller. Yes. Um, Will Hoffman, what is the name of the book that you have on the wheel? Um, so this wheel, what I did was back in August, I had people submit any books that they had written, and I had them give me a link, and then I put the titles on Ether. Will Hoffman's book is called Ether. That is on the wheel. And so what I did is I had self-published authors and indie authors put submit their the links to their books, and I put it on the wheel. What I have on the wheel is the name of the books, not the title or not the authors' names. There is one author. There were two authors that submitted books, but their books both had the same title, and so instead of putting both titles on, I went and looked at their what books they have available, and there was a female writer that had written Ties That Bind, and then there was a male writer that wrote a book by the same name, and the male writer actually had another book that I was really interested in. So instead of putting the ties that bind from his title, I chose the other book that was in his uh, list of books he had out. So with all of that being said, what we're gonna do is I'm going to let the wheel, like I said, choose the 100 books, and I don't know if I can. No, I can't. Okay, so I got to switch screens. So here we are. Um, while I'm in the screen with the wheel, I will not be able to see this comment, so I'll have to switch back and forth between the two screens, which shouldn't be a problem. All right. Okay, I think we're just about ready. I know we only have 4 people, but we're nearly 10 minutes in, and I don't want to keep the people that have been here that are here at the start waiting too much longer. So um, we'll go ahead and pick the first 10 names, and then I'll come back to the to check the comments. Where did my pen go? Oh, there it is. The Twisted. All right. I chose green and black for the wheel just because of Halloween vibes. Changed desires. I this is a romance. I remember the synopsis for this one. The Mermaid from My Nightmare. So, as you can see, the wheel is automatically deleting these. That's why I'm writing them down. Finding fern. I just thought that that would be that have already been selected, and then that way, not only does it not continue skewing the results, that the only ones that can get selected are ones that haven't been selected before. Let's see, fabled remains. And number 6. I love that girl. I think that's a nonfiction. Puck right off. Um, yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to make sure that my I had the camera to where you guys could see is because there are some titles on here that I'm hoping that will get selected. The Girl Who Swam Between Worlds. And so you're gonna see some. You might see sometimes where I get excited because a book I wanted gets chosen. Bound by Blood. Can't remember what that one was. Dragonstones. Let's see. Check the comments real quick. How many titles total were on the wheel from the start? Oh, that's a good question. There were 278, 200 and let me see. Let's see. There was 280. Where's the hide button? There we go. So yeah, there were 280 books to start off with. The people that had submitted uh, 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 okay, yes. So uh, just got a text, a message on Threads of somebody making sure the live stream was still happening. Okay, so yes, for if any of your friends are asking you about the live stream, yes. And my computer is, oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So let's, like I said, feel free to keep commenting any questions you have, any comments, and feel free to talk about your books. Okay. So we'll do another 10, and I'll just do 10 at a time and check on the comments. That way I don't feel like I'm ignoring you guys. Oh, read the first in this series. Um, I don't know. I don't know if this is part of the series, but I have read a book by the author. This one was Annika Dellen. This is Annika Dellen's book. The Elephant and the Teapot Are Friends. I think this is a children's book. This will be the first children's book that I do. What are friends? Hopefully, before long, others will join in. Lacey Goes to Tokyo. Can't remember, but I feel like it was one that when I read the synopsis that I was glad to have it on the list. Take a shot. Oh, now this one it's about a man's journey to recovery from alcoholism. The wreck of our hearts. Can't remember what that one is about. Some of these that were submitted early on in the early on in this whole thing. Oh, the Sybil of the Wind. So now I did go through and look at the what each book that got selected, every book that was suggested, I did go through and look at what they were about. The Sybil of the Wind, when I Sybil, what I when I first started doing this and started asking for recommendations, that was one of the free, and then it didn't get selected by the randomizer. So I'm glad that it did this time. Secrets at Sunset is another one that I don't really remember what it's about. Facing Fate. You read 280 different plot lines and they don't all stick in your head. Deep down the rabbit hole. Mistaken, but I feel like this is a like an Alice in Wonderland retelling, but I think I thought that of the Tale of the Twisted Tree. Okay. So if you guys, just so you guys know, there's a large bookshelf above my desk here, and so I keep looking at the what I keep looking at is the books up here. One more, and then we'll go back to the comments. The Librarian and the Ghost. Oh, that is another one that I was hoping to get. I don't know. I I don't know if this is actually a romance or if it's just a ghost and a librarian becoming friends and tolerating each other in a library. Okay. Never seen one of these wheelie things before, but it's fun. Thank you, JD Sanderson. So, wheelofnames.com. Yeah. Or you can also do picker wheel and it lets you fill in whatever you want. So like if this is how I used to choose my TBR is using this wheel. Um and so yeah, it just made sense to use it for this because this is how I chose the books when I first started asking for recommendations. This is how I started choosing the books because, again, just like what happened here, I had 280 suggestions of books. I did refuse to put, there was one book, well, there was a couple of books I refused to put on the wheel that were suggested. I ended up getting almost 300 books. But the titles that most of the titles that I refused to put on there on the wheel were books that I already own, and I thought I did a good job of going through the wheel and making sure that I didn't have anything on the wheel that I already own. Um, but the anxiety in me still wants to check just to make sure every time some of these sound familiar, and they sound familiar because, again, like I said, the last time I did this, people posted the same books. But one I refused to put on the wheel. I hadn't read it before. It I didn't own it, but I refused to buy it because the guy had it priced at $200, and there's no way I'm paying $200 for a book. I'm not even one of those collectors that will sit there and I like first editions. Like I'm not that kind of a person. I will buy a book for, I'll spend 20, $25 for a book, no problem. Um, but so and I let Christian Wright says, I saw that you're working on writing a book. Maybe talk a little about that. Um, which one? I have ADHD, so I have quite a few books in the works. Where is my box? Oh, here it is. Hang on a minute. So, for some people have asked about this, um, and I've made this suggestion on threads before. But what I do is I've got this card index card box, and what I do is I'll take a blank card, and I will write down a story idea, and then I put it in here, and then that way, when I'm trying to work on one story and another story idea won't leave me alone, I can put it in here. It's safe. I'm not going to forget about it, and I can come back to it when I'm ready. The one book that I'm focusing on, uh, Christian Wright says, "Don't feel bad. I've got 5 different writing projects in different stages, so I get it." The one I'm focusing on the most is actually you can kind of see the outline going on back there. Um, I don't have a full title for it. It's a working title. The working title is Katie and the um, Immortal, and uh, it's about a 11-year-old girl named Katie Raz who lives with her aunt and her uncle and her 8 cousins, and she's treated very well by the family. They treat her as if she's one of their own kids, but she has starts acting weird, and they find out that she realizes she has powers, and this is not unusual to her aunt and uncle, and her um, father is Santa Claus. Her mother is a European princess, and she is the child of dual destinies. She can either choose to take the throne, um, in the kingdom, or she can choose to become the next Mrs. Claus. And either way, she will eventually marry, and so her husband will either become king or he will become Santa Claus. Uh, but right now, she's just learning how to deal with her Santa Claus powers, and um, she's just trying to get through middle school at this point. um, JD Sanderson says, Jesus, I've released 5 books total since 2018. All of you with your multiple projects make me look like a slacker. Check out my next release in 2027. JD Sanderson, I think we can all, those of us who have read your books can testify that uh, you're doing just fine. Christian Wright says, sounds like an interesting book plot. Good luck. I've got 3 books in my first year today. Yeah, Christian is focusing on a series, and I love I do love cozy mystery series. So I'm Christian's one of the ones that I'm kind of hoping will his will pop on here. Um a fifth person has joined in. Say hi, fifth person. Okay, we're gonna choose some more names, some more titles. Spies in Their Time. Oh, that is the first of a series, and that is one that I'm also interested in, mainly because I enjoy spy stories. I like stories. My favorite kind of stories are pirates, spies, and like o- Ocean's 11 type vibe. The con man, and the one of my favorite, Crimson the Chroma Veiled. One of my favorite series that is not self-published is the Nicholas Fox series. Nicholas is a con artist, and he's working with um, an FBI agent, and they basically run cons throughout the throughout the world in order to um, basically, it's a use a crook to catch a crook type situation. They're turning Nicholas's um, gifts for the con to that was one of the more recent ones, and I still can't tell you what that one was about. And I just read it like 2 days ago. Read the synopsis for it. Fragile Focus. It was one I was interested in, but not one that I remember well enough to be, super excited. Shattered Lives. Awakening. Um, m- my neighbor road, and I can hear one of them coming home. Now, most of the books that I write are more middle grade fantasy, and they mostly focus on um family dynamics. I enjoy this not discovering, exploring um family dynamics. Okay, Soul's Fuel. Um Next one, Loving Whiskey. And um I like working with characters that come from all kinds of different families. Some of them come from like big families, like with Katie living with her 8 cousins, and or in some cases, in the Creature in the Wood, the Curse in the Woods. Um, I the main character, it was just him and his dad beneath the white. It is a dystopian fiction, and like there's this old tree that just refuses to die despite how frozen and cold it's been for like ever. Who is Bobby May? I remember this one is about a woman that gets amnesia, and she is trying to figure out who she is. Okay, Christian, new book series set to release next year, as well as book 1 through 3. A modern Poirot main character arc for book 1 is now open. You should do videos on all the books chosen today, showing the covers and going over the plots. I do plan on doing that. My granddaughter, her mother has given her permission to help do an unboxing video, and we're thinking of doing a live unboxing. Um, where we're going over that. Um, and of course, anybody who doesn't get chosen today, you're still welcome to send books. The address to send books is down in the description below. These books are just books that you don't have to send because they're going to get purchased. But yeah, my granddaughter and my niece are both planning to be here for the live stream to do an unboxing where we go over the books lines. War of the Severed Tales. Um, the Gandian. This one I'm interested in simply because it's a fictional story, but I believe they've got to go to Mount Everest to get a specific relic. Paragon Exordium. Now, you guys are in the comments are also welcome to talk about your books. I mean, like, and absolutely promote your books. I absolutely encourage writers to uplift each other and support each other when and where they can. Let's see. Portals of the Lost. feel like I know what that one is about, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Takes more than love. And if you guys don't want to talk about the books you've written, you're more than welcome to talk about the books you've read. What's everybody reading? I've got four I'm working on reading right now. The Last Good Daughter. And two more, and we'll go back to the comments. Butterflies at Blue Hour. And the Arid Lands. All right. Okay, so Christian says the unboxing idea sounds fun, good bonding as well. Yeah, my granddaughter is a massive reader like me, and obviously I've got to be careful what I can give her because she's only 12 and she has um good, you know, the very religious parents who are very conscientious of what they allow their children to consume. And she's starting to get to an age now where they are letting her they're trusting her to make good decisions. And she started reading one book and she got halfway through it and put it down because it had scenes that she didn't feel were appropriate for her to read, and that has solidified her parents' trust in her making her own decisions. Will Huffman, Ether, after learning that a guardian spirit has mysteriously protected her since childhood, a desperate runaway discovers she has the same power and must use it to protect the woman she loves. Okay, so it's a sapphic romance. I remember um, you telling me about this one. Um, Christian thinks it sounds interesting. And Christian, Parish in Paradise, a murder mystery set on a cruise ship on the Caribbean, a present-day murder tied to a 10-year-old case. Yeah, I actually read Parish in Paradise and did a review for it, and I quite liked the characters in that book. Um, Most of them were very realistic. I like the way that uh, um, how they people that especially two friends, Tyler and I can't remember Tyler's best friend's name. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed the way that the characters interacted with one another. Um, the protagonist, the main character, there were times when I was like, yes, I absolutely love this character. And I was like, you know what, she's kind of annoying. Um, but I think you find that with a lot of people that you actually know. There's always someone who's like, I really like this person. They're a little annoying sometimes, though. And then the second in the book of Christians is Sins. Okay, sins, ties, and weaken demise. I read that as lies. I'm sorry. I read it as sins, lies, and weekend demise, but it's sins, ties, and weekend demise. An isolated, closed circle mystery set at a country manor during Labor Day weekend with twisted family dynamics and heist and homicide. A wealthy elderly woman is killed in an apparent robbery gone wrong, but her daughter is convinced otherwise. And once Iris with starts to investigate, she believes otherwise. Okay. Georgia is Tyler's friend, and also Iris is going to be more chill in book 2 and 3 also, and in the remaster of book 1 released early next year. Yeah, so um the Christian is remastering book 1 based on feedback that he got on that. And I do like I don't think that that's a problem in any way, shape, or form when writers make changes to a book based on feedback. I think that's a good thing. But I also respect authors who decide, no, I am perfectly fine with the way it is. So I think there's merits to both. I do think that sometimes readers get to be a little bit entitled and they're like, you need to change this for me. And it's like, I didn't necessarily write it for you, though. I wrote it because, well, the stands. I did not write it for you. I just wrote it because it was a story that needed to be told, and I felt that it needed to be told this way. All right, let's go ahead and keep on going with the titles. The originals return. This was another one that um was on the first group back in, what was it, April that I posted that. It's been so long ago. Maybe it was before that. How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Mr. Right. That is such a long title. Another um another nonfiction self-help type book. One of the stories that I have planned, that the one that I showed you, Christmas Fudge Fatality, or a holiday themed book. Um, but the book that I showed you guys, the book idea, Something in the Air. Ugh, sorry. Um, the book idea is called Something in the Air. Don't trust the raven. Um, that one is a boy who kind of gets some kind of divine message, but he can't really understand. All he knows is he's got to do certain things. And anytime he questions or somebody else questions, why are you doing this or why are you acting this way? All he responds with is, there's something in the air, because that's the only message he's getting. And eventually he finds out what exactly is in the air, and it culminates and they find out just why he had to do what he did, and sometimes it's, um, like getting a teacher fired. City of End. Um, but he finds a particular teacher fired, meant that a bunch of students that that teacher was teaching, they couldn't get a substitute for him, so they had to move those students to another um, place um, in the school, and it's revealed that they had been something wasn't working, and so by by getting that one fired, getting that teacher fired and those students having to move to another part of the building, uh, the thing that didn't work where they were doesn't affect them adversely. And because they're in an area where the thing wasn't working over here, but it's working over here, it ends up working to those students' advantage. I don't know if my neighbors are coming or going, or if they're just getting more construction um, materials delivered. They're building a house back here. Leet, don't remember what that was. The Last Scientist. I wish marketing was not something we had to do, because I don't know about you guys, but it's so exhausting constantly uh trying to drowning. I do remember that one. It's another romance, but I don't know that it was one that I was necessarily psyched about, but it's not one that I'm not excited about. Home okay, that is 50. So we're gonna go and check out the uh I think it depends on the situation, what the writer feels is right for the book. I agree. Thanks, Will. Christian says, "How to live an extraordinary life with or without Mr. Right. Relatable." Something in the Air sounds science fiction. It's more um, Christian fiction. Um, Marketing is a witch. Agree, marketing is awful. Darn it, my internet cut out for a while. Um, JD, all I can say is you didn't miss your book getting picked. It has not been picked yet. So, um, but we've only picked 50 books. We still have 50 more to go. Um, so fingers crossed. JD's book is one of them that I'm kind of hoping to get, because I don't have very many science fictions on this list yet. And I'm every genre. I got a nice, it looks like there's a nice um, mix, but I do not have any good. It doesn't look like there's any science fiction or mysteries. So, um, actually, I don't think there's a whole lot of. Um, there might be some what am I trying to say? Fancy, but um, Ether is another one that sounds like it would be interesting to get to, just because of the existence of powers in that world. Um, but yeah, so the um something in the air is more about a he's getting, like I said, he's getting divine messaging, but he's not exactly sure what the messaging is, or what it's what it means, and the best he can decipher is there's something in the air. And like I said, he's acting in a way that makes his parents and his teachers, and they're just like, you're not acting the way you normally act, and it's not innocuous actions either. He's kind of getting into trouble. At one point, he even pulls the fire alarm at the school, and um, the people are like, "Why would you do that?" And like, he gets a group of, he convinces a bunch of the kids in school to take off running, um, like out of the school building at one point, which is really annoying to the teachers. They're like, "Why are all the students leaving the building?" And it's just this elaborate prank that he felt he needed to pull. And when his older brother, who goes to the same school with him, is like, "What are you doing? You know, mom told me to keep you out of trouble." And he's like, "I can't help it. There's something in the air." And uh, yeah. Yes, Christian Right. So kind of a chosen one, but it seems like someone being mischievous. Yes. All of a sudden, the good kid turns into a mischievous prankster that's getting people in trouble, getting himself in trouble. But he's actually the only one listening to the divine um, messaging coming through to tell him these are the steps you need to take. And in doing so, he ends up saving all of his classmates from whatever it is that's in the air. Because uh, what's in the air isn't going to be there for I can't imagine uh, going through going through that. Now the immigrant's wife um, abandons his wife and his baby, not because he's not wanting to be with them, but because um he develops a disease or something that is very contagious, and he's out to Okay. So probably should have gone back to check on you guys a little bit sooner because um sound was off and I didn't realize it. Oh well, you know, technology is great. I do love how technology does connect us because like there's this just wasn't something that I would have ever been able to even think of being able to do with people um back when and like even 10, 20 years ago we were still being able we were like 10 years ago we still had the internet and we could um talk to each other and whatnot, but to be able to um connect uh the way we do now is uh kind of cool for me. um I've made a lot of good writing friends um uh in being here and doing this. um what books have been picked so far? Can someone catch me up? Yes, Crazy Crafters. So far, we have The Twisted Tree of Wonderland. As I said with somebody else when we first started, I have the titles on the wheel. I do not have the authors on the wheels. So I couldn't tell you um, who has the authors, but the titles are The Twisted Tree of Wonderland, Changed Desires, The Mermaid from My Nightmare, Finding Fern, Fabled Remains, I Love That Girl, Puck Right Off, The Girl Who Swam Between Worlds, Bound by Blood, Dragonstones, Mortog the Damned, The Elephant and the Teapot Are Friends, Lacey Goes to Tokyo, Take a Shot, The Wreck of Our Hearts, The Sibyl of the Wind, Secrets at Sunset, Facing Fate, Deep Down the Rabbit Hole, The Librarian and the Ghost, Spies in Their Time, Crimson the Chroma Veiled, Catalyst, Fragile Focus, Shattered Lives, Awakening, Soul's Fuel, Loving Whiskey, Beneath the White, Who is Bobby May, The War of the Severed Tails, The Gandian Gambit, Paragon Exordium, Every Ounce of Courage, Portals of the Lost, Quantum Space, Takes More Than Love, The Last Good Daughter, Butterflies at Blue Hour, The Arid Lands, The Originals Return, How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Mr. Right, Christmas Fudge Fatality, Don't Trust the Raven, City of End, Digital Extremities, Elite Memories, The Last Scientist, Drowning, Homebrew, Mourn Not the Mortals, The Immigrant's Wife, Anti-Hero Blues, Waves of Undead, Among the Stars and Shadows, The Waipa Crocodile, uh, Dead by Dusk, The Blackguard Saga, A Race with a Rogue, and The Moon the Sun Forgot. That's what's been chosen so far. Doing a live that's yeah, I'm trying to one of the tricky parts is balancing everything that's going on in life. I have um mm, a part-time job working in the next town over. I have um the YouTube channel. I still have to have time to read the books that I'm doing the views for. Um and then there's my own writing, and then um dealing with the family. As a matter of fact, the next video that will come up on Wednesday, tomorrow, is A Foul Match by Sarah Madeline. But I finished the book and needed to do the video, but I also needed to make supper. And so I ended up making supper and reviewing the book at the same time. Um, so the four books that I'm currently reading is A Promise by Amelia Martin. That's about three kids during three friends during World War II. One is raised by a Nazi family, and the other two are Jews, and they make a promise to try and stay together no matter what. Um, Hannah Levin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Again, I got to get a hold of the author. The Treasured One. Um, the main character has the power of healing, and her powers go wonky, and she has to figure out what's going on with them. And the Fae Prince tries to help her with that. Um, the Barrel Street Murder by J.C. Bybee um, is about an elf trying to solve a murder. And this is happening, it's a murder mystery in a fantasy world, which is interesting. And then Join Me in Death. Um, I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but Siddhant Shakar. Again, um, getting names correct is incredibly important to me. Um, so I usually get a hold of the author if I'm not sure. Um, if I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I'll get a hold of the author to not only know how to pronounce the name of the book, if the characters' names are questionable, or even their own names, I'll get them to teach me how to pronounce it properly. Um, and this comes from going to school with a kid whose first name was Skylar, but his parents spelled it using the Dutch spelling. And as a result, almost every time we started school, the teachers first time in pronouncing it would always end up pronouncing it um, Schuyler, and it got a laugh out of a lot of the class. And I just remember watching this kid just he acted like it didn't bother him, but it you could see that in a way it did. That the highlight of everybody's first day was watching um, everybody get his name wrong, and like that was the highlight of his day. Everybody's day was, let's see how badly they butcher his name, and they knew how they were going to say it. And the way I found out that it did bother him is the reaction he had on two occasions. Uh I was in school with this kid from 4th grade to freshman year, and during that time only two teachers ever got his name correctly first time. And the way his face completely lit up when they got his name right, I was just like, okay, this bothers him more than he's letting on. Okay, let's choose 10 more names and we'll come back to the comments. Um by the way, so if you have a book that's on the wheel that you want to talk about, feel free to do so. And if you have a work in progress that you want to talk about, feel free to do so. Let's get to know you. And if there's anybody else that's joined in the comments that hasn't done so yet, feel free. The spreadsheet situation. The Institute Stolen Case Files, that is another one that I was really interested in, it in the first round, and, um, it did not get selected, and I was very disappointed about that, and, I was glad to see that it got suggested again, and I'm glad that it got chosen because that one is the cover is really cool too because the cover looks like an actual case file. Welcome to the cemetery. Okay, that sounds like a nice creepy one. So, for those of you that were saying the elf mystery sounds interesting, it really is. She has a lot of magic powers that she uses to solve the case, including resurrection powers. She's married to an orc, and she is an immortal. Journey to the But yeah, so far she has discovered that somebody is summoning otherworldly powers, and that really and truly there's not a whole lot that can defeat such things. The butterfly crust. Uh, yeah, I do not have that one. Like I said, my anxiety tells me to keep checking. Um, for those of you who are just joining, I have a bookshelf up here above me. Southern breeze and mimosa trees. I don't know what this one is about, but it sounds like a really good vacation book. Am I mistake? Is mimosa? I feel like mimosas are a drink, not an actual fruit. Am I wrong about that? Dragon vet. That is probably gonna be one that my granddaughter enjoys. She is very much into snakes and dragons. Okay. Uh, um, one of her first response was, "Oh, you should see if you can find them on thrift books." And it's like, first of all, most of these are released this year. They better not be in thrift books just yet. And second of all, that doesn't really help support the author as well as the purchase of a book from either Amazon or their website because they don't get royalties from book stores buys. Okay, check out the JD Sanderson says, I'll shout out my time travel mystery, A Footstep Echo. The complete collection, two short novels, one short story. I completely revised and updated my first series into one book. It read like Doctor Who meets The Born Identity meets The Shining Girls, and was originally inspired by the OA. I love the OA. Uh, William Hoffman's OA was an inspiration for my book as well. Awesome. Christian says that sounds interesting. I got a work in progress that is time travel mystery inspired by anime Erased. I have not seen that anime. JD Sanderson says, me too. I saw that and said, F it. I'm going to go out of my way to be original. And then the Mystery Girl story was born. What is the Mystery Girl story? Christian asks. Crazy Crafters doing what a good title. Dang, what a good title. Mimosa is a tree and a drink. Mimosas are orange and champagne mixed together. Okay. My book, it centers on a mystery girl who cannot speak or remember but can travel through time. She's about 28 and befriends a lonely widower in his 70s. And that became a footstep echo. Uh, okay. Christian says, Cozy Crafter says, dragons are fun. Christian says, Erased is a short anime mystery about a boy sent back in time to save a girl from a serial killer. Cool. Most of my animes are that I've watched are reanimated, are resurrection animes, like the time I was resurrected as a slime, and uh, um, like he's in a different. What is the one? It's in a different world with my cell phone or something like that. Okay. Um, how many more do we got? 10, 20. Got 30 more titles to get through. Tiger Kate. Trying to think of what other writing ideas. And see, this is why I put the ideas on the bond. A index card because I will forget the story idea if I don't. I do have one. It's called Race Against Race. And this girl is in a bus can't drive empty. Another children's book. Um Race Against Race is about a young girl about 12 or 13 who gets into a car accident, and one of the things that happens as a result is she loses a leg. And she insists on sometime after her recovery, she insists on trying to do a 5K race, but she's a go big or go home type of person. So uh, when um, the animals whisper to run, I think she decides she wants to do the turkey trot. And they're like, "Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. You know, it might not. It might be too much for you." And so she not only doubles down, but she goes ham and says, "I'm gonna run every single race that's available this year." And her mom is, trying to be very protective, and her dad's like, "Yeah, let her go for it." Harvesting game. So what he does is we've got to be realistic about what she can do. And he says, forget all that. He says, tell you what, I'll even run all the races with her. And the mom is just like, if I sign the two of you up for these races, you better run these races. I don't want to hear you're too tired or you don't want to do it or whatever. I will sign you up for these races, but you're going to do it. And you're going to train, and you're going to train with her. I don't care how tired you are from work. You train with her. So the two of them train, and they find that there's a lot of complications in it because it's not all 5K races. Some of these are half marathons. And it also creates a kind of a bonding moment between her and her older brother because when they got in before they got into the accident, she and her brother got into a fight over who would get the window seat, and she won. And she won, and the crash happened on her side um, of the car, which is how she lost her leg. And so the brother kind of feels guilty because he feels like if he could have fought harder for the window seat, then his sister wouldn't uh, be missing a leg. And for whatever reason, he feels like at the very worst, it should have been me that lost a leg. At the very least, I'm big enough that maybe I wouldn't have. The Adventures of Taram Mun. Leadership lesson. All right, one more and we'll come back to the comments. Oh, The Conjurer and the Corpse. The title alone makes me interested. Okay, see what's going on in the comments. Um, book, shout out for my book, Glow Despite the Darkness. Luminous was 9 when he was falsely accused of his father's murder and is a revenge quest to clear his name in hopes of finding what the locals call the Library of Knowledge and Fire. Oh, I okay, I do remember uh that book going on the list. This is one of the reasons why I like having you guys talk about your books because like I said, some of these I remember and some of them I don't. I'm gonna blame fatigue. I was tired, I'm sure. Finding solace. Another book that I have in is The Magic House, and there's 10 different people. Their lives are falling into they're struggling. Dance of Demons. Um, in one way or another, and they've hit what they think is their all-time low, but all 10 of them know of what they call a special house. And they know if we can get and they're like, if I can just get to this house, everything will be okay. Think that's another self-help book. But yeah, so the book is tentatively called Magic House. And some of these people, they have either a spouse or a family, and they're telling them about this house. The plus one cover the storyline for this one. Um, but they try to get to this house, and they're all these different people from different walks of life, and they're telling their spouses or their kids, if we can just get to this house, everything will be okay. And they're like, what's so special about this house? And they're like, it's a magical house, I promise you. We just have to get there. And they're from all over the world. Some of them are from the United States, some of them are from overseas, and they just got to figure out how to get to this house, and everything will be okay. And then as they're journeying, you start to figure out how all 10 of these people are connected, and why they all know about this house, and why they think getting back to this house is going to be the thing that solves everything for them. The plus one contract is one of those fake dating romances, and she tells him, "Hey, should we bring a pineapple to this family dinner?" And he's explaining that pineapples are a symbol for swingers, and um she's telling the guy that she's fake dating. She's like, that's not true because my parents have pineapples all over their house. And he's like, okay. And she's like, what are you telling me, parents? He's like, I'm but they signed a contract where she's basically hired him to be her pretend boyfriend to keep her family off of her back about dating. Extension. Extension. Oh, yeah. Um, that is about an alien civilization. Like, I remember the cover has like a purple girl on the cover. When there was us. All right. It's not one I own, so I like I said, I've done good at not having anything that I already own on the wheel. Sasquatch said, "What? What did Sasquatch say? Anybody know?" I told my dad that I should take him to Oregon. Uh, um, uh, because I believe Oregon has a $3,000 reward for anybody who can bring a live Sasquatch to them. Which I think is a huge underpayment, because if you're risking your life to get a live Sasquatch to them, I think you should get more than $3,000. Just my uh, piece of opinion there. Christian says it sounds like most of us write mysteries of some kind. Yeah, we kind of do. We do like our plot twists, don't we? Um, says 14 plus for alcohol, violence, and harsh dialogue. Oh, Crazy Crafter's book, Glow Despite the Darkness, is 14 and up. 14 up for alcohol, violence, and harsh dialogue. I I'm not sure I would want my 14-year-old reading something with, uh, I don't know. Of course, like I said, my 12-year-old granddaughter is at a point now in her life where her family trust her to make good decisions, and they're not as protective over her uh, reading choices and content consumption. They're a little bit more. They don't mind they let her pick the books that she wants to read, and they trust her with that. What they don't trust her necessarily with is movies. So they will kind of uh um they're a little bit more iffy on the movies. What age range would you say my first book would be? I would say 8th grade. I I don't know, Christian, because like I would have no problem with my 12-year-old granddaughter reading your book, reading Parish in Paradise. Um, I her parents might. Again, in we both belong to the same church. They're just a little bit more protective of their children than what I am. Um, I I I focus on protecting them on the internet, which is why I don't use their names or um, share where they go to school or where they live. I do get to see them, so they live close enough that I can go and visit them once a week, but not close enough that they're like right down the road. It's more because of one of the backstories with the club. Yeah. Um, trying to think. The I guess the issue that I have, one of the reasons it would be questionable for my 12-year-old granddaughter is just how incredibly promiscuous Charles was. Um, but uh, yeah, so like I said, her mom has given her permission to be on the live stream. She will be using the code name that I developed code names for all of my grandkids. So when I'm talking to them on um line, talking about them online or whatever, it's usually like the 12-year-old is, I call her Dragon Rider because she likes dragons and some of her favorite daydreams is uh riding on a dragon. Her little sister is 9 and her nickname her code name is Princess Rockstar because she's absolutely a princess, but she did ask for a skateboard for Christmas and she has no problem. She's the of all of the kids, she is the biggest bully as far as fighting. She will absolutely knock out her older siblings. And then there's Dino Dude and Pilot. And mainly for very obvious reasons. Dino Dude is very he's 8 going on 9. He'll be 9 next month. And he is Uh, oh, no. Princess Rockstar is 10 now, isn't she? She's almost, old enough to be in Young Women's. But anyway, Dino Dude is, very fascinated with dinosaurs, and Pilot likes trucks and planes, but when I asked him what he wanted his nickname to be, because for me, I call him Psycho, because he's, my favorite little chaos goblin. But, he prefers being called Pilot because he wants to be an airplane driver. So, but yeah, now Katrina, my niece, she goes by her first name because she is 16 and she is old enough to give consent to be online and whatnot. So, you'll actually see her, her um, uh, not only for the unboxing video, the live unboxing, the unboxing live stream, but you'll also see her at the end of October. She is going to um pick, all right, last 10. Um and actually, mm, yeah. So I say the last 10, but the essence of his, I say the last 10, but I think I'm gonna pick one extra one just for funsies. Um, I set aside a $2,000 budget, um, and I remember some of these uh, being less than the White Mask Society, less than book. I would tell you guys don't tell anybody I'm doing that, but this is live and it's going to go up on the main channel. So I think so. I'm using StreamYard Studio, so I don't know. This is, like I said, this is the first fractured. This is the first, and somebody suggested I use StreamYard. I don't know. Um I feel like it should be um get um and I do plan on doing another live where I try to just use YouTube's going live and see what that does. Haven't decided what that live stream will be. The doppelganger. Maybe I'll take Christian's um advice and do a a live stream writing sprint session. Varlandria. Valandria. After Dallas. I believe this is another one that's a nonfiction. I believe it is the what happened after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Potions and the Pleasantly Poisoned. How do I want to know? Asking for a friend. Okay, two more. Oh, yes. I was really hoping to get this one. It's about a family with an incredibly autistic boy, um, and how they deal with that. And Thane. Okay, disappointing. Psycho, laugh out loud, how cute. Yeah, okay. So there's a reason I call him Psycho. Okay, I'm not being mean, I promise you that. But so when he was 3, his father works from home. And his father was in a meeting in his home office. And when he was during this meeting, on the opposite of his wall, he kept hearing some tapping noises. So he went to see what the tapping noises was. He told his the people on his meeting. He says, "I need to go and check on something." So he went to check on something. He went to check, and he goes around. He goes out of his office and around to the other side of the wall, and there is his 3-year-old son with the biggest knife from the kitchen, just stabbing the wall. Which is why I call him Psycho. So and so yeah, I call him Psycho. Um and he has absolutely earned it. And the kid is absolutely fearless. He will climb on anything, he will get into anything, and he has this thought process of, if I can get it, I can have it. We were all upstairs at one point talking and trying to help out his mother, who was at the time uh, dealing with a medical issue. She had just had surgery, and we were up there trying to comfort her and make sure she had everything she needed. And all of a sudden, here comes the Psycho, and he's 4 at this point, and he's got a styrofoam bowl full of goldfish crackers. And his dad's like, "Where did you get that?" And he says, "Daddy, I climbed up on the pantry shelf and I got it all by myself, and I was very, very careful." And his dad's like, "I'm glad you were very careful, but dinner is literally in 5 minutes." And I did defend him, and I told his dad, I said, "You might as well let him eat the crackers. I guarantee he'll eat dinner." And he asked me how I could be sure. I had taken him and his brother Dino Dude to I'd made the mistake at one point taking the 4 kids to Applebee's. They had never been to a restaurant in their life because their parents cook at home, and their parents are pretty good cooks. So anyway, they and the reason they've never been out to a restaurant is very understandable. Not only do they cook at home, there are 9 children in this family. Anyway, Dino Dude and Psycho are the youngest, and I had made the mistake of taking the 4 youngest to a restaurant. They'd gone to take them to Applebee's, never been to a restaurant before, and they were very confused as to why they told the waiter what they wanted to eat and why they had to wait for their food. And he's like, I'm trying to explain to him they have to make the food, and he's like, "Well, why did they sit us at a table if the food's not ready yet?" And it's like, because that's how restaurants work, and they thought that was absolutely stupid. Um, but then they get their meals, and after eating all of them eating the meals, the 2 youngest boys were like, "So can we have seconds?" "Not at these prices, you can't." So the next time I had just the boys, I took them to a buffet, and the 4-year-old, uh, he ate a chicken fried steak. He had a sausage link, 2 sausage patties, a drumstick, a donut, a cinnamon roll, um, fried bologna. I don't know why they had fried bologna at this buffet, but especially since it was their breakfast buffet, but they did. Um, But he had basically got his plate full of all these meats and a cinnamon roll. Then he went back, and he comes back, and he's got more sausage, and he's got a biscuit, and he's got um some like vegetables that he found that he liked. There was like broccoli, and then he found some fruit, some strawberries and cantaloupe. and watermelon, and then he went back again and got some brownies. And this is in a one like less than an hour period. This kid has eaten 3 plates of food, and he insisted he needed uh some cotton candy to polish it off. So we got him some cotton candy to go. And it takes us maybe 15 minutes to get back to his house. And he walks in and he tells his mom, I need some gummies. And his mom says, why do you need some gummies? He says, Mom, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, where are you putting all this food? So yeah, when he comes up with a big bowl of goldfish and his dad's like, dinner's in 5 minutes, you can't eat that. And I'm just like, he actually could. He could eat that and dinner and dessert and still have room for more if you actually wanted him to. Okay, guys, so that is our list of books we will um do. I will go and buy them, and then we will when we get them all in, we'll do the unboxing and we'll go from there. Kind of disappointing that nobody in the that was here today book was selected, and I'm so sorry for that. Um, but I hope you guys enjoyed the stream anyway. Um, so uh like I said in the description, there is a uh my address. If you want to send a book, you're always welcome to send a book that you guys can that I will add it to my library, and eventually it will get um on the channel, hopefully. So I will see you guys later, and I'll let you guys know when there's another live stream. Bye.